Hi, this is BrownMark, and you're watching Musicians Reveal with Joe Kelley.
Welcome to Musicians Reveal. Joe Kelley here. Very excited because a true pioneer in music, one of the most influential people in the Minneapolis sound, also a solo artist, a producer of several bands, and he is just coming out with new music. He dropped a hot song which is perfect for the summer called Down Down. We welcome back to we used to be the Upper Room, now we're Musicians Reveal. Brown Mark. How you doing, Brown? Brown Mark.
I'm doing good. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me back.
Yeah, great to have you on. I know this is like the third time you came on, but the first on the
Yeah,
video. And yeah,
yeah,
so first off, our viewers probably want to know how you're doing health wise. I know we talked a little off air, but you look good.
yeah. I like I was, saying a little earlier. Um, when you have autoimmune, you just go with it day by day because you don't know what's wrong with you, and something new always pops up. That's the amazing thing. I developed asthma. I developed hyperglycemia. I ulcerative colitis. It just keeps piling on top of each other,
Mm.
and all I can do is try to stay healthy, go to the gym, keep myself active, so that I can keep, especially the hyperglycemia. I got to keep that down. 'Cause that stuff will kill you. It's like poison in the blood,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and my sister, she was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. It runs in our family. My dad had it. She had it. I'm hoping I don't have it, but that's going
Okay.
to be the next set of tests to find out if I got, multiple myeloma. So I
Yeah.
just take it day by day. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I always ask my wife because she's got issues like autoimmune. She says, ask me in the morning. She knows exactly how the day's going to go by when she wakes up in the morning.
Yeah,
That's, you know, so.
sad thing.
Yeah, but like you said, day by day, and today's a good day. And
Yeah,
you drop in some new music. That's great. Down,
trying.
down. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you said, this is a great. I mean, it's great Caribbean flavored. Tell us
Yeah.
about this song and the video and how long you've been working on it.
Well, it's a series. So I have an album. I wanted to get it out by summer, but I got too busy. I'm gonna have to push it back to the fall. But it's definitely gonna drop in hopefully in 2025 here. But it's called 41st and Park. That's where I
Okay.
grew up.
Okay.
So Park Avenue. Uh, I grew up on Park Avenue, and so I wanted to something to reflect my life in music, how I learned, how I picked it up, how I started having a passion for it. And then in a subtitle is Shades of Brown. That
Ah, okay.
many shades because the music is a collective of orchestra music, orchestrated music, cinema music, funk, a little bit of jazz, and down down's kind of like a Caribbean pop. So
Mhm.
it's just a mixture of who I am internally. A
Right.
lot of people say, Thunder Thumbs, or uh, the Rumbler,
Right.
there's a lot more to me than just slapping bass. So in this
Right.
album, you're going to be able to hear all of it. And that's the purpose. So
Yeah.
albums are hard to push nowadays, though. Woo.
Yeah. I mean, I had an artist on not too long ago, and they're dropping single by single, and the album's going to be in like 5 to 6 months. I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
you're all everybody search, and you're independent, I assume,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so you're just looking for the right way. So
I mean, record labels nowadays. What happens? What do you do? What do you get?
yeah,
You they take everything and they blow you up, but it doesn't reflect on the bank account.
yeah,
So,
and that's important. All the hard work and yeah.
mhm.
So well, you got the core fan base. Of course, people know you from all your previous career, which is extensive. I mean, you should be proud of the legacy, and it keeps on growing, man.
Yeah, and they've been
Yeah,
really, really good to me. It shocks me because Revolution kind of gets a bad rap because of how people think it dissolved, and then the MPG came in. It's
Mhm.
nothing what people understand at all. So a lot of the real hardcore fans that really know us, I call them friends, not fans, because
Right.
they're like my friends. I love the way they DM me. I get so many DMs every day, and I try to. Um, I can't respond to every DM, but what I try to do is at least engage
Right.
a
Right.
heart, thumbs up, or something. Yeah,
Yeah, that means a lot to him. I mean, I just read the interaction with different artists, and it's like, before it'd never be like that.
yeah, yeah,
Especially at
yeah,
the peak of the tours with Prince, right? You guys were just running from city to city and trying to keep safe.
yeah. The
Yeah.
funny thing is, when you hang out with Prince as long as we have,
Hmm.
on a personal level, not musician level, just on a personal level, you start to learn his behavior and you pick up on it, and then you become kind of antisocial. I mean,
Oh, okay.
you're reclusive, you or introverted, and so you only talk to people at certain time periods, and it's really hard to open up to the public without this image that you're carrying. So I spent years stripping that off. It is the hardest thing in the world to do, is strip off this image that you learn, that behavior.
Right.
And once you strip it off and you become a normal human being again, people can relate to you a lot better. And I like it much better this way.
I know you weren't around Prince as much after you went on to your solo and production, but you definitely were kept in contact. But did you see
Absolutely.
that? Did you keep him? Did you see him change, kind of in the vein that you yourself were doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He kind of did the same thing that I did. It's like, wait a minute, I'm too far left. I need to come back in and center myself. I have a lot of fans out there. I got a lot of, friends. I noticed that he, like myself, he was working at becoming more personable, more, friend, fan friendly,
Hmm.
instead of this distant, how do I want to put it? This distant kind of,
Recluse.
yeah, but
Yeah.
more a mysterious character.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He started to reveal himself a lot more, especially when he met Larry Graham. I noticed a big change in him.
Hmm.
And when I went to Minneapolis, he flew me there a few times because he was trying to work on some projects. But I remember the first time he flew me there, he looked at me like he was shocked, and he goes, "Wow, uh, your aura is glowing." And I said, "What do you mean my aura is glowing?" I was like, "Did I look like I got too much sun or what?"
Right.
But that's not what he meant. He said internally, I can
Okay.
tell you're happy. And I said, "Oh," I said, "Yeah, man, I found life."
Hmm.
Musicians, we can get caught up into this swirl. That business, oh my gosh, it takes you down. It takes you to a place that sometimes you wish you would have never gone to. And I was able to get out of it, and
Hmm.
I was able to look at life through the eyes that everybody else sees life in. Because when you
Yeah.
get way up there, like where we were, man, you change. You
Yeah.
change.
I thought I'm not the only one who thought that, but the commercial success with Purple Rain, I was like, this is going to be the peak for Prince, and
Yeah.
and it was. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just you were when. Let me ask you, when you first got invited to be in Prince's band, right around the 1990. Oh, it was before Controversy tour. But
Hmm.
how old were you then?
Wow. 19.
Wow.
19. I just turned 19, and he got a hold of me. Let me see. We started kicking off that fall. I remember in the fall. I was in school that summer.
Oh
Right?
yeah, right,
Yeah, I was in school, and then he got a hold of me. I dropped out of school, not high school.
right.
I was learning. I was taking up architecture,
Mm,
out of all
okay.
things.
Wow.
I wanted to be an architect,
Yeah.
but and then so that got sidetracked, and yeah, that was about the fall of. '81, I think. 80 or
Hmm.
yeah, 81.
Yeah.
So
How? What was the reaction? Your family saying, "I'm going to go on a cross country tour with Prince and the Time and Company."
everybody was shocked. They were like, "Get out of here!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get out of here." I
Right.
I didn't understand it, what was happening because it was a dream and something I always wanted, but it was always a something that was more hobby. I do
Mm,
this as a hobby because I'll never make a living at this.
right.
And so when I pull out of school, that was a big, big decision.
Yeah. Yeah. And Prince, he's notorious for doing advanced scouting on musicians who he has come into
Yeah.
his fold. What was
Mhm.
it like for you, and where was he taking note of your playing?
Well, as most people know, my book, My Life in the Purple Kingdom, I talk about my days with the band Fantasy. That was a
Mm,
group that me and saxophone player, later became keyboard player, Michael Smith.
mhm,
He goes by the name Chico though, but we formed that band together, and so we played a lot of, we called it Chitlet Circuit. We played a lot of, you know, clubs like the Elks Lodge and the Nakarima, the real small time private clubs,
mhm.
because back then it was hard for a black band to break into mainstream because it was just segregated. People
Right.
want to act like it's not, but hey, I lived it, and the truth is, we were segregated. And
Right.
so we never First Avenue. I got thrown out the first time I walked in there. They accused
Wow.
me of. I was what? How old was I? 17. They accused me of harassing women. I was like, I didn't talk to women at that time. I was too
Wow.
into my career,
Yeah.
my hobbies and stuff. And when they did that, I was like, "You got to be kidding me! I wasn't looking at no girls." And they said you were harassing women, and they threw me out. So I knew what that was about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like whatever, But times change. Prince opened a door,
Mhm.
uh, and it really squashed a lot of, or exposed a lot of Minneapolis's racism and segregation. And so, you know, um, got my point, but
Yeah. No, that's all right. I hear you.
yeah,
And like talking about, he started speaking more on topics like that. I'm sure if he were still
yeah,
with us
yeah,
today, it'd be no
yeah,
doubt he'd be knee deep in it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, saying what
exactly.
he's got on his mind.
Mhm.
The tours. Do you have a favorite with Prince and the Revolution?
Um, I remember my point now. I
Okay.
just want
Yeah,
to
you go
step
ahead.
back just for
All
a
right.
second.
That's okay.
So the band Fantasy, when I changed the direction of the group and we started playing clubs,
Hmm.
mainstream clubs. We fought hard to get in. We started learning top 40 music. That's why they gave us a shot. But we were
Hmm.
in 7th Street entry, some of your smaller back door type of rooms in the clubs. But it exposed us. Prince would come and see us every week. And I knew Andre was gone, but Andre was talking to me even about being in his band as bass player. So it was really interesting when all of a sudden Prince called me up at the community center that we rehearsed at in the middle of the night, and he was like, "I want you to come audition." So that's how all that took off. And that's how he found me or scouted me.
What
So
was that audition like? Because we've heard from Dez and I think and Gail Chapman and Fink. And what was your audition like with him?
uh, it wasn't even an audition. It was so funny because Bobby picks me up and brings me there. We're in the basement of his house where his studio was, and he had the drums and bass and an amp, guitar amp set up. He gives me the bass, and he doesn't talk. I mean, I don't even know the dude, and he just starts. He says, "Do you know Head?" And I was like, "Of course." So boom, we jam on that for literally 15 seconds. I'm
Wow.
like, then we jam on, he's like, "Do you know Dirty Mind?" I was like, "Of course, I know all your stuff."
Right.
And then, but literally about 3 minutes went by, and he's like, "Okay, that's enough." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, did I get fired that quick? That quickly?"
Yeah.
And but that was my audition. Literally, I would say 5, I might be exaggerating, maybe 10 minutes, but no
Mhm.
longer. And he says, "Bobby, you can leave. I'll take him home." That was my audition. And then when we were riding, he was bringing me to my car, which was parked in Edina,
Okay.
because Bobby picked me up. It was so interesting because I really got to learn who he was. It wasn't this character that I was kind of afraid of,
Right.
not anymore. So, very interesting audition,
Yeah.
if you call it
Right.
one. Yeah,
That's so he was big on popping in the cassette in there at the time and playing his music and testing it out in the
absolutely.
car. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had a big stereo in my car because I loved the 808s, the subwoofers, and all that. But his was on a whole nother level. When I got in his car, the whole thing was shaking. It was rumbling, and he was letting me hear all the new music. And I got to hear Controversy. I got to hear Let's Work, all this other stuff he was working on. Heck, Erotic City, all that stuff before its time.
Right.
And he let me hear a lot of stuff, and I was pretty blown away because it was so different. I was even curious if it was even going to work. It was so
Mm.
different.
Yeah, even this today, when to this day, I'd put it something like that in the car, and I hear like different sounds that I was like, I didn't hear
Yeah,
like when I was 20 years older when it came out.
yeah,
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 wow, it was
yeah,
amazing music coming out of his mind and fingers, and he had
yeah.
great collaborators, of course.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. That he did,
Hmm.
especially around after 1999. That's when he started allowing us to collaborate with him, and it was really interesting how that worked out. Because a lot of the other bands, that were around him, he worked individually with people here and there. But with the Revolution, everybody thinks he just worked with Wendy and Lisa. That's just not true. I
Right.
mean, I don't know where they get that from. Maybe the movie, people just kind of create this idea in their
The
head of
Rolling
what
Stone cover,
happened.
maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
But it was interesting how I would always show up early because I secretly had the band Maserati I was putting together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I would always get there early because I could record jams. Because this was before I had a big studio in my house.
Okay.
And so I would use our rehearsal space and I would be jamming on something. And then here he would walk in the door every single time, never failed. He would show up early. And I was like, dang it, you know, because he would hear the groove and he'd be like, "What's that?" And I'm like, it's just something I'm working on." He said, "Oh, play it again, play it again." Next thing you know, he grabs his guitar, and then as the band's walking in, he starts, "Hey, hey, come up with something for this," And next thing you know, we're working on a song. That's how Boys and Girls was created. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't realize Boys and Girls was a Maserati song I was working on.
Okay.
I got it from Cameo.
Mhm.
Hold on, let me get this off the screen. Yeah, I got it from Cameo's. I was a Cameo fan,
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
so I kind of had that feel in my writing, and that's where that came from.
That's like one of the in my off that record. That's one of my favorite tunes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's too
yeah,
short on the record, but yeah.
he just snatched it.
Yeah.
That's how
That's
he
right.
worked.
Yeah.
That's how he operated.
Yeah. I mean,
I now.
right. I mean, you detail a lot in your book about
Yeah,
all different kinds of things, and of course, probably most people know the Kiss story on the evolution
yeah,
on you know the original
yeah,
working and passing back and forth, and um,
yeah.
was that kind of similar to working like girls and boys kind of thing?
Kiss was a little different.
Hmm.
Kiss was actually a song he brought to me,
Hmm.
just on like an acoustic guitar, and he said, you should try this on the guys. It's different. We need something different. And I remember I looked at him and I said, yeah, but this is some like, you know, some country stuff. I don't know
Right.
what it was. I said, I don't want this on the record. And He said, just try it, just see what you can come up with. And so that's when I went in the studio, put a beat on it, changed it up totally.
Hmm.
And that's how Kiss was born. I just get a little angry when I hear some stories about people's involvement with it. They're all lies. People lie. And I
Hmm.
learned that people will do anything for a little light, a little
Right.
shine. But they're lies, you know. Kiss was created solely by me. Started with a drum beat and a bass line. And that's the story. And you know, we had producers, we had not producers, an engineer, Dave Z. We had the band would come in, and I would have them do certain parts, you know, replace what I did, and because it gave it more of a band feel.
Right.
But you know, then that turns into all of a sudden, yeah, we wrote it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I get frustrated only because I never got the credit due.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I get frustrated. Otherwise, I wouldn't care.
Hmm.
But you know, when I hear people taking credit, and then you see in these interviews, everybody's like, "Oh man, you know, David Z did this, David Z did that." When I hear that kind of stuff, I get really bothered because I'm like, "Wow, you know, I'm totally discredited for a song that I created." And
Do you
so,
think?
but that's
Yeah.
life, you know,
Yeah. Do
it's
you think
life.
Prince was headed towards? If he didn't pass, he might have rectified some of that towards
He
you.
already did.
Oh, okay.
That's why he was giving me flying me out. I mean, he was really trying to fix what he had done.
Right.
A friend of mine worked for him at Paisley Park. He was one of the his name is Jim, and he was the guy responsible for all the janitorial in the
Okay.
building.
Hmm.
And so Prince started, you know, having him go with him to LA and things like that. And next thing you know, he gives me a call. He does not know that Jim was my friend. Prince didn't know that. And Jim calls me up and he says, Mark, he said, he really feels bad. I said, what do you
Hmm.
mean? He said, he says he did you wrong. And I'm like, wow, really? And so that's why he was calling me.
Right.
You know, he didn't know how to say I'm sorry. He just would try to figure out a way to remedy, fix the problem, or fix what he had done. So he'd start flying me out there and trying to work with me on different projects that he was doing. And then, you know, he made mention. He would never said sorry about Kiss, but he says, you know, hey, we're gonna make things right. And he says, you know, how about, you know, we might go on a tour,
Hmm.
and we'll go on a tour and we'll do it like this and we'll do it like that. So I could tell what he was trying to do was throw me a token, you
Right.
know, because I never got my royalties.
Yeah.
So,
What
but then he
about
passed.
what year was that kind of talk about maybe going on tour with him?
Wow, 2014 maybe,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
2013, 2014.
Yeah. Last time I saw him was December 2013 at where you played with the Revolution, where I saw you at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. But he had Goucher playing bass, and then
Okay.
Ida Nielsen, when the Third Eye Girl stuff, Ida was playing bass.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but would have
So
loved
that
to
was
see you.
13? Was
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
2013?
Yeah. It was
So I probably saw him in 2012 then, or 2011, 2012. Because
okay.
I remember it was about a year. Uh, Edith started playing about a year after my last conversation with him.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
right around. I just got my dates mixed up. I'm getting
Yeah.
old.
I used to like stress studying everybody's discography, the artist, and then I was asking Patrice Rushen about a record, and I asked, she goes, I don't know, did that one come before that one? And she, she did so many records, she wasn't even sure.
Yeah,
So
you just
yeah,
don't even remember, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Uh,
last time I saw three of the four tours he did with Prince. I didn't see Controversy. I was too young, but I saw 1999. I saw the two shows at MSG and
okay.
countless shows on Purple Rain tour. But what was your favorite tour? Do you have as a whole one of your favorites?
Um, wow, a favorite tour. I mean, wow. I I liked all of them, but I think Controversy was a struggle for me. 1999 was a coming out where I
Hmm.
found myself. I would say Purple Rain was probably one of the better tours for me.
Yeah.
By by Parade, I had quit, and
Right.
then I was under a secret contract.
Yeah. Right.
Um, so I was just like, he had me way in the back behind the piano, behind the three guys that he had in front. And so I knew the dynamic had changed. That's his way of like getting back at me. But Purple Rain, I think that was probably, I would have to say, my better tour. I had more freedom. I had a lot of fun.
And I got to give you credit. This is my opinion on this. When Doves Cry Studio, no bass. I love hearing on that tour when you were laying the bass, especially the extended jams. I mean, there
uh,
those sound not sound yeah, some sound checks and some recordings of that tour out there. I mean,
yeah.
you smoked it, man. Whose
Oh,
idea
thanks,
was
man.
that to put the bass in there? Prince's?
Well, originally there was bass,
Mhm.
and he took it out.
Right, yeah, studio. But how about
Yeah.
on live to put it in?
So that's, when we got live, it's like I'm just standing there doing the dance step thing, and you know, and then we got to that I think third or fourth verse. It was like, okay, it's kind of monotonous now, and that's
Mhm.
when he was like, man, put that rumble in. And so we just put the rumble in, and then everything kind of picked up a notch.
Right,
So it took the song to the next level, and that's how we vamped out. And then we
right,
even took it to another level where I started doing this octave thing, like all the bass players, remind me of that to this day. They're like, "Man, remember that part you were doing? Do that. Show me how that goes. Show me how you
right.
did it." So yeah, took
Yeah,
it
that
up a level.
yeah, just incredible times. And you brought up, the interplay with different bass players. I'm not a bass player, although it says in Chat GBT that I'm a bass player. No, I don't play an instrument. Uh,
Okay.
but anyways, the online tutorials you do with the bass really, really popular. And are you going to get back to doing that? I'm sure there's a lot of work into it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Here's my thing about YouTube.
Hmm.
I don't do anything for money. I never have.
Hmm.
One thing I learned from Prince: do good work, the money always comes.
Okay.
So that was a belief that I had, and I grew up with that. You know, YouTube, I went through all their little courses and things, and they give you this spiel about what they'll do for you and the algorithms and all this. You know, not if you're this shade, I'm telling you. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's just the truth. And it you have people like, for instance, I'll take Let's Work.
Okay.
I did a tutorial on Let's Work. I've seen little, little white girls and other people
Hmm.
will do a tutorial. Let's
Yeah.
get funky, and they got 4, 5, 600,000 views, and it took me what 4 or 5 years just to get 90, 90 views, 90,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and everything about it was to me untrue. It's just everything they said would happen doesn't happen. And I was even putting money in ads and things like that. So I kind of got discouraged because I needed to fund it.
Right.
It's very expensive to do that every week.
Hmm.
And so I just got to a point where after about a year or two, I was like, yeah, I gotta put it to rest. But now I'm going to come back with it because now I'm working on a project called Collab Music Studio. It's an online collaboration platform. Let me see, collabmusicstudio.com. Now it's still in its beta stage, so it's got a long ways to go. We're still working out a lot of stuff, but when that thing gets fully built, it's going to be a very powerful, very um, interesting site for anybody that wants to learn music or even jam with professionals.
Yeah.
Learn how to jam or do anything. And so that's the only reason I'm going to go back into doing more tutorials, because what it does is it feeds the project,
Right,
because
right.
that's part of collaborate collab music studios. I just get it mixed up.
Yeah.
That's part of that,
Hmm.
is the teaching people how to write songs, how to jam, how to work with other people. So the tutorials come in handy for that type of work, that type of
Yeah.
site.
We'll look forward to that. And of course, people can go to your website, brownmarknation.com, and
Yeah.
down. Where's the best spot you want them to come to listen and hopefully purchase it?
I'm revamping brownmarknation.com. I
Okay.
will have e-commerce set up there where they
Mhm.
can get it directly from there,
Okay.
probably by the end of the year. But for now, you can just go to Apple Music.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Apple Music has it.
Yeah. I wanted to mention something. Our good friends, Chris France and Tina Weymouth of the Tom Tom Club. You're
Okay.
jamming on their track there, man. That
Oh
was cool
yeah,
hearing it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
They came. They've been to the studio because they're from Connecticut. I mean, they live in
Okay.
Connecticut. Yeah. So
Yeah, I love their vibe.
yeah, we went to their
Right.
house when they did the Tom Tom live from the clubhouse. It was in their
Okay.
house, in their living room, and they had their
Okay.
studio in a barn behind. So
Okay.
yeah,
Funky groove for its time.
yeah, yeah. You hear it all now in the commercials. So
Yeah, let me see. My band, the Bad Boys, we jam on that sometimes on stage.
oh, okay. So yeah, that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
speaking of the bad boy, Bryce Miles is a mutual friend. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We
good guy.
first, yeah. Is he out in Atlanta still, or he was in L.A. and
No,
Atlanta?
he's LA.
Okay.
Yeah, he's out in LA.
Yeah, we first met him when he was playing a few gigs with the Time. Um, the keyboard. I think Chance had left to go with Prince maybe, and
Okay,
he was
I
playing
remember that.
keys. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Bryce, he's working with me on a project out of Las Vegas right now. Three
okay.
brothers. They call themselves
Okay.
3B Rich.
Hmm.
And right now they're in the development stage. We haven't even got to the music yet. I'm trying to develop what and who they are. Once we get that developed, we launch it. That's going to be a good project to look out for. That's going to be a good one.
So
It's me when I was younger.
right, right. Yeah. Who are the three Brazilians? Right. You're working with a group. Is
Yeah,
that them?
that's them.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. I saw the video. They were dancing. Carl Carlton's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it.
That was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we all could move like that. Still.
Oh man, yeah, we got a lot of videos. We've just been building up content. Every once in a while, I'll throw one out there, but their social media. We just got a social media manager, so their page will be coming up pretty soon.
Oh, okay.
And
So
then,
yeah, we'll look forward to hearing everything coming out with them. Sure. How about speaking? The through the Purple family, Maserati near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. Stroke's still one of my favorite songs off that record.
yeah,
Love that track. But what's the latest with the band and still going by the Bad Boys of Paisley or a different name?
yeah. It's a. I get asked the question a lot, and I try to stay positive about it. But that right there is a thorn in my side, a thorn in my life. That
Okay.
group really caused there was a lot of tension there, and a lot of lies being told about me, and just it's kind of like almost the TLC Pebbles thing, you know. Only I don't know her situation, but I know mine,
Mhm.
and I know what I lost. $500,000. That's a lot of money
Mm.
on trying to launch a group, and Prince had a lot to do with its failure, believe it or not. And but that's my second book I'm writing that right now, because there's a lot that went into that. But I decided to leave it alone. When people show you who they are, believe it. And I tried to revamp that group, and I really got to see that I just don't want to work with these people anymore. And then I changed it to Bad Boys.
Mhm.
And then same thing though. It's I started working with cats, and I just don't want to deal with them anymore. So now I'm just gonna bring in a whole fresh sound, whole fresh group of people, younger cats that I'm working with now. So
Yeah.
unfortunate. I hate to have to say that, but you know what? One thing that I've always been known for is my truthfulness. I don't. There's no hair on my tongue. I tell it how I see it, and I don't lie.
Right. And you
I
don't
can't
lose sleep
stand
over
when.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I know you're not there, but the videos you have, I always admire watching the videos, the huge screen you got in your studio. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that exactly?
That it's a touch screen.
Okay.
It's all custom, so you can't buy it.
Okay.
It's something that I have built for me. There's a company, Q Logic, out of Florida, and
Okay.
they said what size. I told them, and we built that thing. And man, it's just like a Slate Logic system. So it's all you know touchscreen. Nowadays, I come from the time when everything was analog,
Mm.
and nowadays you don't need it. Everything sits actually on my laptop, and then when I go into the studio, I just transfer it to my hard drive, and then I just run it from there. But yeah, really, really fun system, but it's a little big.
Yeah. Yeah. But it looks
But
cool.
with my age, you can't see anymore, so
Yeah.
I start
Yeah.
wearing
We're all wearing the
glasses.
glasses.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need a big screen.
I got the
So
progressions for close and far away. So yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Um, Out of the Prince days that you were a part of, do you kind of wish like concert video or studio recordings of see the light of day? Do you have any wishes for anything particular?
I have a lot of wishes, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't think anything's ever gonna get the. I don't think people are ever gonna get the truth of what it was because everything's fabricated.
Hmm.
Everything is greed, making money. It's so disappointing. I grew up an artist, and an artist always is a starving artist. And if you make some money, then great. But that's not what it's about. It's about the music. And so it's so disappointing to me when I look at what's happening with the legacy, And but it's what it is, That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody else loves it, so hey, that's all that matters. But for me, I just look at things that do surface and I go, people never get the truth. It's always some fabricated lie from some engineer or somebody that wasn't there. They're stuck in a studio with them. They don't hang out at the club with them. They don't know what's really behind that stuff. And it's so disappointing when I listen to people talk about what was, and I go, wait a minute, I was there for 12 years and I don't remember seeing you anywhere, you know? So, it just it's really disappointing. And I just don't think that people are ever gonna learn the real truth about the whole legacy from
Yeah.
beginning to the end.
I definitely think there's a dire need for who's ever working with the estate and the future releases. Talk to people like yourself and other musicians who were there for quite a while. That
Yeah.
I don't know, that would at least have your say.
I think what happens with me is, uh, I've talked with many people and they get the truth. The truth gets shut down. People don't want the people in charge do not want the truth out. So everything's fabricated. I'm just like, part of what makes life so interesting is learning the truth. You live a lie or you live an untruth. How do you ever, you know, I don't know, how do you ever get the essence of what was really being created. The real truth behind it matters.
Mhm.
So it kind of just, I don't know. When I listen to all the fabricated stories, I just shake my head now.
Did you get
Too old to
approached?
get mad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, we got to kind of let it fly off our backs, I guess. Yeah. Did
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
approached for that documentary, the Netflix?
yeah. I was
Yeah,
in it.
yeah,
Yeah, that got shut down really quickly. I knew when I was filming, I was like, they came to my house and they were asking me some questions, and I remember I used to have to say, look, you asking me things I don't know. Ask me stuff that I know, and I'll tell you the truth.
right.
But don't ask me things that is hearsay, drama, rumors. I don't gossip. I don't talk about stuff I wasn't there to know about, but I'll tell you what I do know. And what I do know is truthful and it's from the heart. Me and Prince were friends. Friends have fights. Me and Prince were brothers.
Hmm.
Brothers have fights. That's part of life. So why hide the truth? He wasn't infallible. He wasn't perfect. He was a human being. And
Right.
so when I give interviews, I tell the truth about the
You
human
still there?
side
Yeah,
of
right.
the person that I grew to love as a brother, and to this day, yeah, he did things to me that hurt me, but man, that was my dog. I mean, he was like my big brother. That's just it's the way it will always be. There's a love and a connection there because of everything that he gave me.
Now, getting back with the revolution, we saw you at the Wolf Den in Connecticut, the casino there. Still talks about some dates with the band, or it's off the back burner right now? It's on the back burner.
Eh, it's on a big back burner. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's just, I can't speak on it because I don't know. But all
Right,
I do know is a couple people in the band just decided, they don't want to do it. They don't want to play for whatever reason. They'll
right.
sit there and say they want to play. Well, if you want to play, then let's play. Stop beating around the bush. But there's a lot of in-house nonsense going on right now in the band, and I think it's all greed related. But that's just my point of view, and I don't care who gets mad at me for saying that. It's what it is.
And you had to take a huge role on the vocals, you and Wendy up there. And we saw you when Stokely was up there. What was that like, jumping up front and playing the bass? It's a little more difficult singing and playing bass in a concert.
It was difficult, but I think what was more important was, okay, we had to convey what was.
Yeah.
Uh, the people come for an experience. The revolution is an experience. We help create the music we play. We barely played stuff that we didn't have involvement with. And so what that does is it makes the energy is different. It's very authentic.
Hmm.
So, Wendy and Lisa, they were hitting the high end parts because, of course, we don't have Prince.
Right.
And then I would always hit his baritone, his more lower tone vocals. And then we brought Stokely in because I can't sing every song and play.
Right.
And so that's how it happened. It was the four of us kind of just shared those vocals, and it worked. It was we had fun, a
Yeah.
great time on tour.
Yeah. It was a great concert. Yeah. You had the meet and greets after and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I don't know why it ended, but I wish we could. I wish we never would have stopped doing it because it,
Did
it was a lot of fun.
you did some Europe dates too, right? Or was there
Europe date,
talk?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for that. Yeah.
yeah. We did. We went over there a couple of times. Had
Right.
had a good time.
Hmm.
Oslo, Sweden. We did. Amsterdam, London. I mean, we had a great time over there. They love us over there.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that fan base is not, unless people pass away, they're still there for you guys. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. It's
Yeah.
just like awesome. We'd be riding the train from to France or somewhere. We get on the train and people recognize you on the train. It's so cool. The
Yeah.
experience is so different over there than it is over here in America.
So you are back playing with We Were the MPG or some form of that with the name with Morris Hayes and Company. How'd that First Avenue gig go? And you got another one coming up, right?
Yeah, um, I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do with that.
Okay.
Sonny Thompson, he's
Yeah.
out,
He's in Italy,
he's
right?
gigging.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting in for him, for First Avenue, and then we have another one coming up in Idaho.
Okay.
But I'm still contemplating that. I don't know how much further I'll go with it. Um, so yeah, we just have to wait and see. I'm just not sure at this point.
The era that you were with Prince, of course, you're playing songs that weren't, you weren't there while it. What are your favorite songs or in the show that with Morris's band and We Are the MPG?
Um, I love Get Off. That just rocks.
Mhm.
Man, that bottom end is just nice and fat on that. I just love playing that song. I like playing uh If I Was Your Girlfriend,
Mhm.
you know. We play a lot of Revolution stuff, but I really like from the MPG music those two, three songs. They're kind of my favorites. I like Diamonds and Pearls, but they do that kind of more just keyboard and vocal.
Okay.
But yeah, there's I definitely there's music from the MPG that I really dug,
Mhm.
when back in the day
Right.
when they were put together. Sign of the Times, I like that one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's got the better war stories? The Revolution or the MPG guys when you're talking backstage? Because we've hung out with the time so many times, and
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
always fun. But yeah,
I think we all have war stories,
yeah,
I think it doesn't matter what band you're in, you're gonna have war stories. The road is rough.
yeah, yeah,
Road life is hard, man. Wake up in the morning, you're on a bus. You go to bed at night, you're at a hotel. You get up in the morning, you're on a bus. City after city after city. And everything becomes monotonous. The same thing over and over. So that's a
yeah.
rough life.
It would have been nice during Purple Rain to have a residency like Prince did in Vegas, right? You just come down for showtime.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah,
I just remember him saying to me, he says, "Mark, if you ever catch me in Vegas, kill me."
yeah,
And the last time last time when we talked, I was like, "Well, what you doing, man?" I said,
right,
I said, "You spending a lot of time in Vegas
right.
for somebody that said he would never do Vegas." So,
Yeah, I guess he had a change of heart for whatever
yeah,
reason.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
So
Vegas is
yeah.
cool. Vegas is cool, man. You go there, man. You play, you make money. It's fun.
Mhm.
I like Vegas.
Did you ever live out there?
No, I
Okay.
go out there. I go out there now because I have a band that I'm
Yeah,
working
to
on.
work with,
You know,
yeah. Yeah, I
get
go
me
out and
ready.
see my dad for like 5 days out there, but,
Okay,
yeah. I'm happy
hot.
with home. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So and the Sphere, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
that's dope. I would love to play that.
Yeah, yeah. That would
That
be
would be cool.
have you I haven't been in,
The
have you
revolution in the sphere. That would be cool.
see? You gotta everybody's gotta come back on board for something like that. I'm sure, people would
Yeah,
love that. Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So anyways,
Yeah,
before we wrap up, I want to talk a little about your upcoming music. I know you alluded to him before. The album's going to be called 41st and Park.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
My
New York
old
reference,
address.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You grew up
Yeah.
in the Bronx, right?
I grew up in Bronx. Well, I was born in Bronx. I grew up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So my mom got me out of there before the gang started.
yeah,
So
yeah. New York's it's got so much to offer, but
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, stuff you alluded to is not the
Yeah, it's
best.
got
Yeah.
ups and downs.
You're right. So this album, 41st and Park, what can people expect? Just refresher.
They can expect what's in here, my heart. I am a plethora of many different genres of music. I don't even consider myself having a genre. I play whatever feels good. So
Mhm.
that's what this album is. It's a feel good album. You can get a taste of it online if you look at, go to, my YouTube page and listen to, it's called Planet Earth. This is
Okay.
Planet Earth.
Mhm.
Man, it's got, that'll give you an idea of what the album, some of the stuff that is going to be very different on this album. And then, they will have some funk tunes and some pop tunes. But the industry's so different. It's a personal album. If you like music, if you like what I do, it's gonna be perfect for you. If you're looking for the next Chris Brown hit, I'm not the guy,
Yeah.
It's not one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You save those for the the triple B or the group you're working with, right?
Three be rich. Yeah,
3B
yeah, yeah,
Rich. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
so Brown Mark Nation going to be have a big upgrade on there, and of course we'll keep our viewers and listeners because this will be on audio outlets as well as YouTube. With Brown Mark still busy as ever, right?
Yeah, too
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
I gotta slow down. I'm
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah. Yeah. How many bases in the collection you still have?
I got 14 bases.
Wow.
14.
What's your favorite? You have one?
My favorite is that I have a black Fender.
Mhm.
And that's just my favorite bass. My second is G&L made me a Fender jazz, not a Fender jazz. G&L made me a jazz bass um, signature. Got my name on it. I mean, that thing, it's got a really nice sound. It's different than my black jazz bass. So those are my two favorites. And then my third favorite is I have a Warwick. Like I call it a Warwick hybrid because it's a Corvette with all thumb bass electronics. I mean, it's powerful. The thing is
Wow.
bad. And then when I play it, it bites. Thing just got a lot of drive. So those are my
Yeah.
three basses.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot to choose from. So, yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, thanks, Mark, for spending generous time with us, and great to have you back on and seeing you. You're healthy. You're looking great, and you look a lot younger than your age. That's
Ah,
for sure. Yeah.
thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's
Yeah.
genes.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it all continues great for all of us, and look forward to seeing the projects, various projects, and if the bands that you've been a part of and the bands you work with now, if you decide to continue along, we'll come to the show and see you right here on the East.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
All right. You take it easy.
All right.